Hello sweet souls and welcome to today's pick a card reading. Today we're going to be looking at the energies of Mercury Retrograde in Cancer. We'll be exploring what you can expect during this time, the lessons it may bring you, and the guidance Spirit wants you to receive. This Mercury Retrograde runs from the 29th of June until the 23rd of July 2026. Whether you found this reading during the retrograde or sometime afterwards, trust that if you've been guided here, there's likely a message waiting for you. And if you enjoyed today's reading and you'd like to explore something a little more personal, I do offer private readings and you can find all the information for that in the description box down below. Now, before we choose our piles, let's talk a little bit more about Mercury Retrograde and what this one in Cancer specifically might bring up. You've probably heard all the scary stories about Mercury Retrograde, but what does it actually mean? Well, Mercury Retrograde is an optical illusion where Mercury appears to move backwards from Earth's perspective. The planet Mercury rules communication in all forms: listening, writing, speaking, as well as things like negotiations and contracts. Mercury also rules travel and technology. Retrogrades are not inherently negative. They're great periods for review, revising, and reevaluation rather than rushing ahead into things. During Mercury retrograde, it might be a good idea to avoid signing major contracts or making big purchases. It's also a good time to double check emails, messages, and travel plans. Be patient, especially with miscommunications coming up, and revisit old projects instead of starting new ones. Rather than fearing Mercury retrograde, many people see it as an opportunity to slow down, reflect, and gain clarity before moving forward. Because this Mercury retrograde is in Cancer, themes become more emotional and more personal, since Cancer rules things like emotions, home, family, childhood, memories, emotional security, and intuition. During this time, you might find yourself thinking about the past more, maybe having old emotions start to resurface. It also might be a time for reconnecting with family or old friends. Past relationships or friendships might make a reappearance. It's a good time to process unresolved emotions and strengthen your intuition. Redefining what home means and family matters might come more into focus. Again, it's a great time to slow down and reflect, and there will be many opportunities for emotional healing and closure. Now you know a little bit more about Mercury retrograde, let's take a moment to slow down, settle in, and center ourselves before we pick what crystal or what pile we are drawn to. Trust your intuition and choose the pile or the crystal that feels right for you. Take a deep breath, allow yourself to relax. Rather than thinking or choosing with your mind, notice what you're feeling naturally drawn towards first. Don't overthink or force your choice. If you feel called to more than one pile, that's completely okay, and there may be messages waiting for you in multiple readings. In pile number 1, we have Amazonite. In pile number 2, we have Amethyst. And in pile number 3, we have Clear Quartz. Pause the video now if you need more time to think. You'll find the timestamps for each crystal in the description box, as well as pinned in the top comment. Feel free to pause if you feel like you need longer to decide. Hello sweet souls and welcome to pile 1. If you felt guided to this pile, then there may be a message for you here today. As always, remember that this is a general reading, so please take what resonates and leave the rest. And also remember that tarot is a tool for guidance and reflection, and the real power lies within you, your choices, and the path you choose to create. Now let's see what messages are coming out for you today. We're going to start with what the overall energy is that is surrounding you during this Mercury retrograde. Let's see what's coming through. What is the overall energy for this Mercury retrograde, please, Spirit? Thank you. So we have the Page of Wands, the Two of Wands, and the Eight of Wands. I love this. I love that Mercury retrograde is this time for reevaluating, and it feels like going back to old plans and revising them to kind of steamroll the progress, if that makes sense. This feels like very much a passion-driven project and something that may have been very much in the early stages, but now that you're revising the plan, maybe reevaluating, there is this opportunity with the Eight of Wands for it to go really quickly in moving forward and having just fast progress towards this. With the Two of Wands, it does make me think that this may have been like very early stages before with like the planning. It was very much in the early stages of the planning. You may not have taken any action on it, but with the Eight of Wands, again, it is a great time for taking action and having this fast movement, fast progress. An achievement is a word I want to say. You're going to have achievement with this. Again, I think it is a learning curve because of the Page of Wands here, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Magician. So I was going to say maybe you've had a change of your opinion on something here, of maybe at the time that you first was planning this project, it really would not have been feasible and it really would not have worked out well, but it feels like, again, a new beginning with the Magician. manifesting is something that's coming through. Maybe you did not have all the tools that you needed to start this project, to start this manifestation, to start this dream, but now it's something that there is more opportunity and more time for here. I really like that energy. Let's see what this Mercury retrograde is trying to teach you. So the overall energy right now in the Mercury retrograde is working on projects, revising plans to make movements. And I also get this energy of almost rolling with the punches, because you know that you're trying to manifest something bigger here. So you're wanting to, I was going to say start again, but it feels like, I don't know, it's underdog energy almost with the Page of Wands and the Magician. It feels like a new beginning, a new start. Very much passion driven. Feel a lot of power with it though. We're going to tap into what Mercury retrograde is trying to teach you here. What is Mercury retrograde trying to teach you? Seven of Pentacles and Nine of Pentacles. This really is that slow, steady growth. And it does lead into, I think, this project that you're building here. This is saying that this is going to teach you patience and appreciation. It feels like something where it's going to be something slow. You're going to have to show up every day. Patience, showing up, doing the work. Let's see, a few more cards on what Mercury retrograde is trying to teach you. We have the Seven of Wands. Knight of Cups and Knight of Pentacles. Big investments are happening here. Like time investments, maybe even a money investment in what you're planning here. Again, it goes back to your passions. And I think maybe part of the reason, again, that this was not started sooner is because of this Seven of Wands energy of maybe people not seeing the project, the ideas that you have for it, not understanding, and you having to defend yourself. I would say that now is probably a good time to step away from this defending yourself energy for fear of miscommunications. But like I said, I'm seeing progress here with this investment that you're making, with you moving forward with this, with you growing something here, having the patience and showing up. I don't know if the Knight of Cups does feel like someone may be coming in to try and help. Maybe offer some emotional support. We also have the Three of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So it could be friendships, celebrations and community coming in a way here to help, to guide and support. And this Seven of Wands could be a warning to not be too abrasive with them, because they might be coming from a truly good place of wanting to help and wanting to support you with that there. We're going to look at what from the past is resurfacing and why it might be resurfacing here. So what from the past is resurfacing? We have the Five of Wands, that's conflict and competition. It's usually that petty competition. Three of Pentacles. I don't know, maybe if you planned to do this project with someone else and they just aren't, maybe not helping or aren't in the position to help and be there. And it does feel like maybe you are comparing to somebody else's projects or past plans. With this collaboration, it feels like you almost have this nostalgic feeling towards it. Like, we started this together, we should be finishing it together. But it feels like, again, they're not open for this. They're not able to commit to this. I just saw the Ten of Cups there. So again, it does feel very emotionally driven here, at least. You have a lot of feelings towards who you want to be by your side when you're completing these projects, that it's hard not to have them there. What else is resurfacing here? The Moon, the Ten of Swords and the Devil. So the Moon is, you're wanting this person here, but again, there's something that you're not seeing. They are not maybe in the right headspace. They may have been deceiving you with how much time or energy or knowledge that they have on something here. Or you're just expecting past deceits to come forward. Ten of Swords and the Devil, it does feel like there was this heavy ending here, and it is kind of almost, I feel feelings of guilt around it. I think you feel guilty for the way things ended, and maybe that you are realizing that you would have been a good team, and that the competition or the competitiveness or the comparing, it was very petty, it was very unnecessary. When you should have all been on an equal playing field, you were almost fighting against each other instead of trying to uplift each other. And I can sense the feelings of guilt around that. And again, I do feel like maybe you do want to reach out, but with the moon, it feels like there are things you don't know, that maybe they weren't honest about, that they didn't show you. So I feel like don't feel too hung up and too guilty, and this could be a good time for you to be working through and releasing your feelings around that during this Mercury retrograde. So the next question is, what emotional pattern or mindset is ready to be released? But I feel like a lot of this energy is going to come out in those cards, and I'm going to just scoop up some of these cards here so that we can put them back in the deck and get a full message here. I want to see if this energy is coming through more, and if it is really the center of the focus, or if there's something else underneath the surface. So this is what emotional pattern or mindset is ready to be released during this Mercury retrograde. Let's see for you here. Let's have a look. What emotional pattern or mindset is ready to be released? So we have the Nine of Wands, the King of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. This is all about your boundaries here, and setting the appropriate boundaries, and almost sticking to them. With the way the King of Swords comes out and then the Nine of Swords, that does feel like almost a regression, and you will set boundaries and then you will go back on them. I think it's very hard for you to be a stubborn person when you're needing to be the King of Wands, when you're needing to put your foot down and do what's right for your own mental health or your own mindset. You kind of revert back on that, because the Nine of Wands feels like you are a caring person, you are a kind person and a passionate person, but it feels like people take advantage of that, and you end up getting hurt from, again, not setting the appropriate boundaries, not taking a step back when it is appropriate for you. So I think that is the pattern or the mindset that needs to be released, is you don't have to be mean to set the appropriate boundaries, you don't have to be harsh, but you do have to be firm, I think is the energy that's coming through for you. For that there is being firm in your boundaries. You don't have to be mean or harsh or hostile, but you definitely need to be firm and not revert back and let people walk over your boundaries, is the energy I'm feeling. What blessing or opportunity is hidden within this retrograde? So what do you have to work for or find or look for? The Ten of Wands was going to come out earlier. When I split the deck, I did see the Ten of Wands. Oh, and we also have a Hierophant under that. Learning is a very big opportunity. Tower on the bottom of the deck. Okay, let me break this down, because I am feeling a lot of energy here. I want to go with the Ten of Swords and the Tower first of all. The Ten of Wands can be being overburdened, carrying too much, but the Ten of Wands is coming to that end of carrying all of these wands, being able to put down the burdens and have some release, right? Some closure, some letting go here. With the Tower on the bottom of the deck, we also have the Nine of Cups. This is coming out for a collective that I read for regularly as well. This is a very similar message to that we pulled for this week that I'm recording this. So I'm actually recording this on the 5th of July. So that is when this energy is the most current, I guess, for the reading that is coming through the most. The Tower and the Nine of Cups. The Tower it usually feels like chaos, upheaval, like really things shaking up and changing, and it does not have to be that way. When it comes through the Ten of Wands and also the Nine of Cups, for you to have wish fulfillment, the Empress is there. The Empress is growth, okay? For you to have this wish fulfillment in the Nine of Cups, for you to have this achievement and pride and self-attainment, and for you to have the growth and the creativity, and to be able to birth this project and to birth this idea to its fullest extent, you have to let go of something. The foundation has to shift, the foundation has to change. The Ten of Wands is you having to let go of maybe a burden, freeing up your calendar, it feels like, in some way, to make space for what you're truly dreaming for, what you're truly trying to manifest, and what you're truly trying to create. The blessing here is whatever feels like a harsh, sad ending might actually just be freeing up the time for what you're trying to create and build, and it might be a blessing in disguise. With the Page of Swords and the Hierophant, the opportunity that is hidden within this retrograde feels like an opportunity to learn and progress. You might find someone that has really valuable wisdom or information that kind of unlocks an idea in your mind that I think it does almost relate back to your boundaries here, because it is a sword here, and we have the Page, the Knight, and the King of Swords. Feels like you might find someone that really truly teaches you maybe a good script to use when you have to set boundaries, or maybe a good understanding of the boundaries you set and why you set them. The Hierophant could also be you learning another skill here that does help speed along your project that you're working on, that you're building during this Mercury retrograde. A big thing though when it comes to making these projects during Mercury retrograde is that if this is an idea that birthed during the retrograde and you had never thought about it before, you'd never planned it before, then that is when you really need to just sit with it during the retrograde and not start anything until after. So this would be the good time to do the learning and to do the work instead of actually throwing all of your life into it, right? But when these things are forced upon us, when the tower actually crumbles and it feels like all of a sudden out of nowhere, you have to kind of move with it, right? You have to let it happen and then see where you can go from there. With the beginning of your reading though, like I said, it does feel like this was an idea that maybe you had before the retrograde, so it can be a perfect time to be refining that, reevaluating that, learning more for that, and using that to guide you forward. Let's see how you can best navigate this Mercury retrograde. I think I'm actually going to pull up all these cards again because I think I will get the best reading with all the cards in the deck. Usually I use a lot of decks for readings, but in these pick a card readings, I feel like it's best to stick to the one, so picking up the cards is best. How can you best navigate this Mercury retrograde? How can you best navigate this Mercury retrograde, please, Spirit? Where's the advice here? So, let's start with the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords can be self-sabotage, but it also can be somebody else that is backstabbing, lying, maybe out to cause harm, maybe not presenting in the best ways. Maybe, again, if you look at the card, it is, the whole deck is cats, but we have a dog in a cat suit. So it is trying to offer you this sword, right? It's trying to offer you the stick, but do they have the best intentions? You don't know. They're not presenting the best front, right? The Six of Cups, I do feel like this might be someone from your past coming forward. If people see you working on projects that maybe they thought they have an idea in or had a hand in and want to collaborate, it's how you decide to work with it. Again, remember we had the moon, and the moon can be deceitful, but it can be needing to put yourself into an unknown situation for progress. Again, you'll have to use your discernment for that one. And using your discernment to decide, are you the one that is self-sabotaging by not interacting with this old friend, or are they maybe not having the best intentions when they come forward? We have the moon again. So I do feel like maybe this is someone from your past coming forward with maybe not the best intentions. It does not mean that they're going to, cause this whole tower moment for you, but they might maybe tell you some lies to kind of pull on your heartstrings a little bit. They might try and take some time away from you, or it does feel like time with the Two of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. They might ask you to hang out, go for a celebration, and again, it might be that you're already working on your own projects. You've got a lot on your plate. I don't know why I feel this energy of like they make you feel guilty for not hanging out with them, and it's like you've got your own stuff going on. The Knight of Swords, again, about setting the appropriate boundaries and sticking to it. It doesn't have to be, like I said, it doesn't have to be a harsh message, but it has to be an honest one at least, right? Let's see. What is this? I want to know more about this energy here. The Seven of Swords, Six of Cups, the Moon. Can we clarify this, please, Spirit? The Two of Cups. I don't know if this is a past fling then, because the Two of Cups can be that soulmate partnership, but when I say partnership, it can also be a contracted partnership, somebody that you worked with. Either way, it is that energy of someone that you were closely tied with. There is an emotional connection here, a nostalgic emotional connection that maybe did not end in the best light, and they might be trying to come forward a little bit, get into your connection. Can you clarify the Three of Cups and the Two of Pentacles for me, please, Spirit? Can you clarify the Three of Cups and the Two of Pentacles? We have the Eight of Wands. And one more card, please, and that is the Empress. So when you're trying to build things and have this fast movement and this fast progress, you do, again, have to work on balancing your time and energy, making sure that you're giving enough. You might also need to rebalance your finances for this. I'm not saying you have to cut yourself off from friendships and going out and having fun and celebrating, but for you, I feel like it is more about making this decision to rebalance. Maybe one weekend you go out and one you don't, so you can stay home and work on your project and whatever it is, or your finances, right? You're trying to build new ideas here. You're trying to birth a project. You want fast movement, you want it to go well, and there is an opportunity for that with the Eight of Wands. There is an opportunity for, like I said, fast-paced, really high energy coming through, but that comes with pulling back your energy from other spaces so that you have it. You know, you can't create energy within you. You can only recharge the energy or reshift the energy. You can't just be like, okay, I'm starting a new project and I'm gonna just add something else on top of my calendar when you've already got a full calendar, you know? Let's get one more card of advice, please, Spirit, for this lovely, lovely group of souls watching this collective message here. Oh, we got two. We got Death and the Devil. Don't feel guilty about change or transformations, and also understand that when we are going down a new path, when we are changing things or starting afresh, when we have this, it's going to be scary, it's going to be ugly, it's going to be messy, and that's okay. I always think about the when a caterpillar goes into the cocoon and they come out a butterfly, it's a really gross process, really. They completely break themselves down and it becomes mush and nothing more, and then they transform into a gorgeous butterfly, and there's beauty out of it. Do not feel guilty for having your moments where maybe you are having those uncomfortable growth moments, but making sure that you're doing them driven from a good point, you know, for your highest good. The devil can be driven by lust and bad habits and desires, so making sure that when we're having these change and growth and opportunities, that we're doing it, you know, for our highest good, and not because we feel like we should or we need to, or we feel guilty about XYZ. Before we end your lovely reading here, I'm going to pull an oracle card for you on what is your higher self trying to remind you during this retrograde. A lot of change and transformation and a new project on the horizon for you, so I'm very excited to see where that might lead you. But let's see what your higher self is reminding you during this retrograde, please. Ooh, that one's come out straight away. Believe in magic. I love this, especially because we had the Magician come out. The Magician, he creates and he manifests and he has all the tools for that. But when the Magician also comes out, it does feel like making magical moments in the everyday, finding magic in the mundane. But we have open your eyes and see that magic is all around you in nature. The Fairy of the Northern Lights says you are a part of nature, so you are magical too. When you're wanting to create and build, you might feel like, you know, you don't have enough resources, you don't have enough knowledge, but it is all around you to go and find it and build it and harness the power of it. You are such a powerful being, and you just have to surround yourself with the right energies, and I think that's a very important message for you during this retrograde. With that being said, that brings us to the end of this reading. I hope this message brought you some clarity and the guidance you were looking for. I'd love to know in the comments, has anything from your past been resurfacing during this retrograde? Or did any of these messages happen to resonate? Please do let me know. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, do all those YouTube things. And if you'd like to book a personal reading, maybe dive deeper into this energy, then you can find all the information for that down below. I offer video readings and live Zoom readings. Again, all the information for that is in the description box. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I truly appreciate you. Hello, sweet souls, and welcome to pile 2. If you felt guided to choose this pile, then there may be a message for you here today. As always, please remember that this is a general reading, so please take what resonates and leave the rest. Also, if you could remember that tarot is a tool for guidance and reflection, and the real power is within you, your choices, and the path you choose to create. Now, let's see what messages await you during this Mercury retrograde. So we're going to start with, what is the overall energy surrounding you during this retrograde? What are the vibes like? Let's see. What is the overall energy? We have the High Priestess. Oh, we got a lot coming out here. We have the High Priestess and the Eight of Pentacles. That feels like you're doing a lot of inner work and understanding. And this cheeky Magician, he keeps coming out, you guys. He's coming out in a lot of collective readings that I'm doing recently. We'll get to him. With the High Priestess, feels like that inner work, following your intuition to where you're being guided. And I think it's kind of paying off in, maybe you've done the hard work of doing journaling, meditation, whatever it is, to connect with your intuition and to connect with the guidance that you're feeling. Wow, a lot of major arcana coming out. So there is a lot of big shifts happening for you during this retrograde. The Emperor is He's very loyal, but he can also be a little bit demanding, and there has to be this balance, okay, of knowing when to sit back and demand or guide, or again, the Emperor, he sits on his throne and he can command his people, right? But also he can be the warrior, you know, the knight. He still can go and fight if he has to, and he knows when to sit back and when to take action. That's very interesting energy. I will come back to the Emperor because he's throwing me for a loop here, because I feel like you might be, there feels like almost a battle between the High Priestess and the Emperor. I don't know if you're trying to be very logical with the Emperor coming out, and you're usually a very logical person, so you're trying to write off your intuition in a way here. The World and the Chariots. There are endings happening, chapters closing, and shifts changing. And I don't know if this is the World, meaning that your Emperor energy, you know, is coming to an end. I do feel like kind of almost this energy of stagnation has come to an end, right? Believing that hard work means you have to stay where you are and just work. I think you're finding that your work can be defined in different ways, and that you're going on a journey here with the Chariot, and it can be just a journey of the self, but it could also be a physical journey that's teaching you a lot. I do just want to say, I'll get to the Magician, let's pull him out. I want to just ask if we can clarify this Emperor, please, Spirit. Why is the Emperor here? Please, Spirit, can clarify the Emperor energy? Why is this in the current energy of this Mercury retrograde? We have the Knight of Pentacles. Sorry, we have the Page of Pentacles. I think, yeah, it does maybe feel like you are kind of having this realization that in some aspects of your life, you don't have everything figured out. You don't know all the steps. There are still places where you can learn and grow and change. And I think that's almost a bit of the journey that you're having here. You're having new opportunities given to you. And it's like, okay, well, this is a learning opportunity. This is maybe where I'm not the top dog, right? With the Magician coming through, I like we have the World. The World is the last card in the Major Arcana, and the Magician is technically the second card. So again, it's about starting a new beginning. And for you, it feels like you're manifesting something here. And I think what you're manifesting is coming from being guided by your intuition more than, I don't know, I feel like maybe I had it all figured out. I had all this plan of where I was going to go and what I was going to do. And now I've slowed down and I've listened to my intuition. I've listened to my inner guidance. I kind of feel like I want to go somewhere else. I want to be something else. You want to change it up. And I love that energy. It's a big shift or change. It's very dramatic. With the Mercury retrograde, it can be a very scary energy of a lot of endings and new beginnings, and it can maybe feel like everything's all happening at once, and that can feel quite intense. So let's see what this Mercury retrograde is trying to teach you and see where that energy might lead us, right? What is this Mercury retrograde trying to teach you here? What is this Mercury retrograde trying to teach you? Let's see. Ooh. We have the Page of Cups, the Two of Wands, and the Seven of Cups. I think what you're learning here is ways to move forward with your emotions. I don't know why the word I wanted to use was reactive. Like, you're learning to be less reactive. You're learning maybe not to wear your heart on your sleeve so much. With the Seven of Cups usually is a card of choice and decision. So I don't know if you've maybe been deceived from a decision or a choice where you opened up and gave your emotions and maybe it was not well received. Or maybe this could be, I just feel like that's the energy. I think it was that somebody took advantage of your emotions and now you want to be more closed off. You can't just shut down your emotions, though. They're still there and they still need to be recognized and felt, right? You can't just bury them. And I think you're maybe learning to deal with them, and you can't plan around your emotions is what I was going to say. You can't plan around your emotions, and that's something you're starting to learn. Like, maybe you say, well, I can't do this today because I'm feeling like this, or I can't do that because this, and you're kind of maybe learning that that's not a choice you can always get to make. This is an interesting energy. What? Clarify the Seven of Cups for me, please, Spirit. So we have the Empress, Strength, and the King of Pentacles. For you to have growth, you have to show up, right? For you to have growth and stability and success, you have to show up for all parts of your life. And that means listening to your emotions and working with your emotions. Strength doesn't come from not feeling or burying your emotions, but it also doesn't come from reacting from your emotions and letting them choose everything, right? I feel like strength is you showing up for yourself, being gentle and kind with yourself, nurturing your scary emotions. We also, like I said, it's Cancer, it's Mercury retrograde in Cancer, and there's a lot of Cancer cards coming up. I mean, we have the Chariot, then the Empress feels very much like that nurturing Cancerian energy. Seven of Cups, again, water, emotions. So a big thing for you is finding groundedness during your emotions, during when you feel emotional, but learning to nurture the emotions when you need it, okay? Sometimes, yeah, you don't need to feel the emotion, and you can just put it aside. I heard recently, when we feel things like fear and anxiety and stuff, we don't just put it in the trunk of the car and pretend it's not there, right? And never open it again and just leave it to fester. We also don't let those emotions drive the car and drive the chariot and force the journey. We don't let them sit next to us and yell in our ear the whole time we're trying to drive. We put them in the back seat. They don't get a choice on what we listen to or what we think about. They can ask questions and you can have conversations, but they don't drive, right? They don't drive, they don't choose. The emotions are just there. And this can come for all emotions, you know. You don't let the sadness overtake you. You don't let the fear, the anxiety, you let them exist next to you. You let them be curious and you be curious about them. But they don't consume you, and you don't, you know, pretend they're not there. That is a big energy that's coming through for you here during this retrograde, is working with your emotions to maybe guide you when you need to be guided, but you guide your emotions when they need to be guided. You know, sometimes you have to find these healthy outlets for these things. I'm gonna go ahead and reshuffle these cards because we were having a lot of cards out. I want them back in the deck so we can get full messages for you guys. We're gonna see what from the past is resurfacing and why. And this might tell us more about why you feel maybe so emotional during this time. Maybe you are very heavily afflicted by Mercury. Maybe it's very heavy in your charts with Cancer as well. So let's see what is resurfacing from your past and why. The Fool and the Queen of Pentacles. Again, the Queen of Pentacles is very grounded energy, with Pentacles are being earth signs. They're very grounded, or calling for you to be grounded. The Fool, I think you're wanting to start again. We also have Death on the bottom of the deck. So you're almost craving a change or a transformation or a transition. And it feels like you're almost, I'm not going to say warned, but you're being guided to be grounded during this time and make decisions from a grounded place where you've really thought about it, really planned it out, and not just taking leaps of faith because you can. When it comes to Mercury retrograde, it's not the best time to think of the idea during retrograde and then act on it quick then and there. But if it's come up before the retrograde and you're kind of sat with it for a little bit, then it's an appropriate time to make the leap of faith. Again, that comes from being in a grounded place when we make these decisions. So if you're having just a thought on whim, having a thought on a whim for a new beginning, or completely ending something, making those big shifts, those big transformations, maybe, you know, really sit with it, really think about it, maybe even consult other people about it, and try to do it from a grounded place, thinking about your future, thinking about what you're really trying to build and grow and work towards. Let's see, what else is from the past is resurfacing. Three of Pentacles, so it feels like that could be collaborations or recognition for your work. Clarify the Fool for me, please. 5 of Wands. And clarify the Queen of Pentacles for me. The 3 of Cups. So I don't know if you're trying to compete with a friendship here or someone that you're friends with, wanting to start something new because they're starting something new and again acting out on a whim. There's nothing wrong with being curious, maybe asking questions, but it feels like you're wanting to compete with them, not collaborate. And I think that's something that needs to be evaluated here. Maybe it could just be your feelings around that of like wanting to maybe work alongside them or wanting to work better than them. Maybe you're having a hard time celebrating other people's achievements or celebrating other people's journeys, but the important thing is to remember that you're in different stages of your journey and the way they're presenting themselves might not be, you know, the full story. I think that's a very important thing to remember, that we often forget that the way people present themselves to us is just that, a presentation. Is not the true insides and out of them, right? So being aware of your feelings around your guilt or collaborations or competing with friends, like I think that needs to be deconstructed a little bit during this time. Like, why do you feel that way? Why are you competing with them? Why is it because you feel like you celebrate for them and they don't celebrate for you? That wasn't energy. I feel like maybe you feel like you don't get the recognition for your hard work that other people get if you're in the same fields. And it's like the energy I'm thinking is like you need to be sure that you can celebrate yourself when nobody else is, because sure, your friend has everybody cheering for them now, but in the future they might not, and then they won't be able to feel uplifted or feel whatever because they need it from other people. Whereas if you can find that energy from within yourself first, then when the people do finally recognize you, it feels even better because you recognized yourself first, you celebrated yourself first, you know? And when everybody stops cheering for you, you can still cheer yourself. So cheer the loudest for yourself is almost the energy that I'm feeling for you there. Let's see what emotional pattern or mindset is ready to be released here. So let's see. I think a bit of that mindset is the cheering for yourself energy, right? So we have the Hanged Man and the 5 of Swords. One more card, please. 5 of Wands. So yeah, the pattern that is resurfacing is, why are we letting these feelings feel like defeat? Why are we... Because that's the thing, you're competing with people that aren't actually competing with you, that you're not even in a competition with. You guys are doing completely different things on completely different journeys, on completely different paths, whatever it is, and you're still competing with them, and then you're feeling defeated when you're not doing the same work they are, you're not working as hard as they are, you're not, you know, reaching the same goals that I'm so sorry about that. You're not reaching the same goals. You feel guilty when you're not reaching the same goals as them, right? You take it as a defeat. And I think that needs to be a shifted perspective for you here. Why are we competing with people that aren't even in the same race as us, right? They're doing something completely different. We should also not be competing with people that are in the same areas as us, you know, people in the same career, people in the same practices, people in the same classes, whatever it is. Why are we competing with them when we could learn from them, when we could collaborate with them, when we could grow alongside them? I think a big energy for you is learning to uplift yourself and uplift others and not be competitive, competing and trying to one up is a very heavy energy that I'm feeling here. And I think it might not even be a conscious thing that you realize that you're doing, but I think it's definitely affecting your drive towards how you feel towards your projects or your job or whatever it is, because you're competing. And it shouldn't be a competition. I want to clarify the Hanged Man a little bit more. Can we clarify the Hanged Man, please, Spirit? Where's the Hanged Man here, please? The 8 of Pentacles. It really is just head down and fall on the bottom of the deck. Keep your head down. Keep your head on your own project. And don't even be competing with your past self. Just be trying to make progress and trying to get better and trying to just show up and be there and be present and be aware for the work you're doing and not for what other people are up to. Let's see what blessing or opportunity is hidden within this retrograde. What blessing or opportunity? Well, we have the Chariot, so a journey is happening here. Spiritual journey, mental journey, physical journey. It is happening during this retrograde. Two of Pentacles, Two of Wands on the bottom of the deck as well, and the Star. So there is opportunities here for hope and healing, and understanding. It's very funny that we also have the Chariot and Star, because the Chariot does chase the Star. It chases the desire for hope and healing and purpose. And that comes from when you kind of quiet your mind, quiet your calendar as well. Make sure you're calling back your power, calling back your time and your resources where necessary, so that you can plan more for yourself and give more for yourself. I think that's a very big thing for your healing journey, is making it a priority to heal yourself, putting yourself first. Because nobody else is going to make the time for you to, I don't know, journal or do yoga or whatever your practice is for hope and healing, or whatever is defined by your purpose. Nobody else is going to show up and do that for you, so you have to make the time, make the opportunities, make the plan, right? Nobody's going to tell you like how to get from A to B for the journey that you want to make, because nobody's on your journey apart from yourself, right? See, what I want to just get another card on this. I like this blessing and opportunity. So we have Death, Wheel of Fortune, and the Tower. This is very much an energy that came out in pile 1, so there might be some more messages for you in pile 1. Don't fear change, don't fear letting go, don't fear collapsions, closure, release. Don't fear these things, because they often open up better opportunities and better doors for you, right? There's more for you out there when you start moving, when you start exploring, when you start chasing more, and you start chasing it for yourself and not for what looks good to others, is a very important message that's coming through. Finally, we're going to see, how can you best navigate this Mercury retrograde? What is the best advice? What is the best course of action, I guess? Let's see. What blessing? Oh, that is the wrong. How best can you navigate this Mercury retrograde? How best can you navigate this Mercury retrograde, please? 10 of Swords, High Priestess, 5 of Swords, and the 5 of Wands. The best advice for you, the best course of action for you right now is to shut down those chapters. Close those, like, let go of the swords that hurt you in the past. Let go of the old wounds. Stop picking at the scabs. Let things be. Follow your intuition where you feel guided. Follow your inner knowing, your inner voice. Use your discernment on things, right? Now is not the time for stewing in the past. It's really not helping. It's not the time for stewing on the past defeats or the competitions or any of this. It's time for you to be leaving that behind. And I think you know this. I think you've been guided towards this. Let's get a few more cards for you here, because I'm loving this energy. What is the advice here, please, Spirit? I have the King of Wands. What is the advice here? And the Page of Cups. I feel like the King of Wands was supposed to come out reversed, and it feels like you're not feeling confident and you're not feeling passionate and you're not having that drive, because you've been driven by competing and defeat and competitiveness, and that's why you're losing that drive and the passion for things. Because why would you feel passion for things if you're not meeting these invisible goals that you've set for yourself that nobody else is competing for? I think you need to be driven more by what fills your cup up, what feels fun and exciting. You need to be a bit more curious about your emotions and have an open conversation with it, you know. Listen to your inner guidance and your inner intuition and your emotions, and have these conversations and figure out why. Be driven by emotions, right? The fun emotions, the exciting emotions. Be curious, be open, be excited. Before we end here, we are going to pull an oracle card for you on what your higher self is reminding you during this time. What is your higher self reminding you during this time? Let's see. What is the message? Whoa. Moon energy. Surrender to the natural ebb and flow of life. If you're feeling confused, this fairy comes to calm emotions and reassure you that peace of mind is possible. And I think that is very heavy for your energy right now, of needing to let go and release these scary emotions, these hard emotions, these difficult emotions. Again, when the emotions are there to teach you and guide you, that's one thing. But when you're using these emotions to become a drain on your energy, that's when, again, we need to have those reevaluations. And I think all of this is coming from the High Priestess, of following that inner intuition, that inner guidance, and seeing where it takes you. That brings us to the end of this reading though. I hope this message brought you some clarity and the guidance you were looking for. I'd love to know in the comments, has anything from your past been resurfacing during this retrograde? If not, let me know what resonated from this reading for you. And if you enjoyed today's reading, please like, subscribe, do all those YouTube things. If you'd like to dive deeper into anything like this or a completely different thing, again, I do offer personal readings. I offer video readings and I offer live Zoom readings. All the information for that is in the description box down below. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I truly appreciate you. Hello sweet souls and welcome to pile number 3. If you felt guided to choose this pile, then there may be a message for you here today. As always, please remember that this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. And if you can remember that tarot is a tool for guidance and reflection, and the real power lies within you, your choices and the path you choose to create. Now let's see what messages you need to know about this Mercury retrograde. We're going to begin with what is the overall energy surrounding you during this Mercury retrograde. Let's see. What's the overall energy? I know that was the 10 of Cups, and I think that was like maybe the Knight of Cups as well. We have the Knight of Cups, the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Swords, and the Sun. This is a very potent current energy with the Moon on the bottom of the deck as well. The Knight of Cups and the 10 of Cups, this could be someone coming to you with an offer for more emotional fulfillment, for building something more long term. The 10 of Wands feels like old wounds may be hindering this, or hindering you from thinking that you can have positive outcomes or have positivity, because the Sun is the most positive card in the deck. But with the 10 of Swords coming out before it, I do think that there are past wounds that are blocking this from you. Maybe you don't think that you're deserving of or worthy of this emotional fulfillment. Maybe you don't think that you're deserving of this 10 of Cups. Or maybe you're just believing with the Moon that you have been deceived in the past, and you believe that you may be being deceived again. That is a very real possibility. But the Moon can also represent needing to go on a dark journey of not knowing where you're going or what the outcome might be, but exploring and learning along the way, doing something scary. And we also have the Fool when we split the deck, so that can be those having that leap of faith, having that trust in the universe. Let's clarify the Knight of Cups and the 10 of Cups. The Queen of Wands. So you have to build this bit of confidence here, and I think the word that comes to mind is grace, right? Confidence and grace. You are deserving, you are loving, you are worthy, you are passionate, you are kind, you are caring, you again are deserving of having love given back to you. Clarify the 10 of Swords and the Sun, please, Spirit. Clarify, why is this in the current energy, please? The 9 of Cups. You're wanting wish fulfillment, you're wanting emotional fulfillment, you're working towards building things that you feel proud of and that you feel connected with. So you are getting closer, but again, it feels like maybe you're picking at scabs or not allowing these wounds to heal fully or correctly. And I also think, again, you are very weary of positivity, right? You don't believe, maybe positivity has led into bad places for you in the past, so you're having a hard time following the light. The Sun can also be needing to bring illumination to things, bring an awareness to things, bringing things to light that maybe have been being ignored during this Mercury retrograde. Let's see, what is Mercury retrograde trying to teach you? So we have the 3 of Cups. This has been a very big thing coming out for a lot of people, and it feels like community, collaboration, celebration. We have the 4 of Wands, so I think that's really solidifying that, and the Ace of Cups. So this is a time for you to be building new emotional connections or deepening current emotional connections. It's also a great time for building self-love. I love that we're getting a lot of Cups coming out, because like I said, it is Mercury retrograde in Cancer, and Cups can represent water signs here. And Cups, when the Ace of Cups comes out, it feels like you do have to be very nurturing and caring and kind to yourself, building self-love and self-care, but also love for others and those around you. That is, you know, making sure that your cup is filled so that you can then give to others, right? Pour from your overflow. 3 of Cups and the 4 of Wands are cards of community. Especially the 4 of Wands is stability, celebrations. It could be a wedding coming up. 3 of Cups again is social celebrations, collaborations, communication. So this could be a great time to be leaning on your support systems, especially if you're feeling that you need a little top up of love and care, right? If you need some little TLC, then getting in touch with those around you. Let's see. Maybe you're realizing that you need people more than you thought you did. Can we clarify this energy, please, Spirit? What is this energy coming through with all these cups? 10 of Pentacles. So it really is about stability and being grounded in your connections and in what feels like family. It doesn't have to be, you know, blood family, but chosen family can be very important to you right now. Trying to build a community is very important, and that comes from showing up and showing trust and showing love. So for you, this energy of Mercury retrograde is almost finding your people, finding your tribe, finding those that are there for you and that view you positively and that you can view as positively. Let's see what we have. That was the moon again. So I do feel you being very weary of deceit, and that is causing this lack of openness. Let's see what is resurfacing from the past. What is resurfacing from the past and why? So we have the 5 of Cups, the Hierophant. Let's get a few more cards on what's resurfacing from the past, please, Spirit. One more card, please. That was 2, but we'll take it. We have the 3 of Cups and the Queen of Wands again. The 5 of Cups, the Hierophant, and the Page of Cups. Past, again, with the 10 of Swords coming out earlier and the 5 of Cups now, it does feel like past wounds that we really have not fully healed from or fully moved on from. Something that we feel like we're stewing on. Maybe you feel like you haven't learned your lessons, you haven't got the closure you needed, but right now you're not going to be getting this from other people. This is a time for you to be recognizing what you still have for you. You know, yes, we have 3 spilled cups here, but we also do still have 2 full cups that are opportunities that are, you know, we still have, we're not lacking right now. So acknowledging that you are having these feelings of lack and that this is coming from within you. And as much as you might be looking outward for an answer or for the key to solving this does come more from within and from your conversation with your own emotions, from being curious about your emotions, having a conversation, being open to it. This doesn't mean, again, with the 3 of Cups, that you can't be leaning on your support systems and having conversations and being open about it. You may also find a lot of healing there. But with the Page of Cups and the 3 of Cups, it's that balance of knowing when it is a solo journey and when it is a journey with others. The Queen of Wands it feels like for you are on a journey of like regeneration and rebirth. And really healing the past, and you're kind of coming into the path of who you truly want to be and what drives you and what feels passionate and what feels confident for you. And a lot of that can't be taught, you know. A lot of it you learn from within, and it's not going to be something that's, you know, maybe someone does say something and you're like, okay, that is a piece of advice I can take on, but it comes from actually you almost internalizing it, right? Understanding it and resonating with it on an emotional level in some way. Let's see what emotional pattern or mindset is ready to be released. What emotional pattern or mindset is ready to be released during this retrograde? Have the 9 of Cups. Strength, the Knight of Wands, and let's get one more card, please, Spirit. What pattern or mindset is ready to be released? Have the 7 of Cups. This is making a lot of sense. We also have the 10 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. Let's shuffle these out of the way. Starting with the 9 of Cups. Like I said, this is a card of wish fulfillment. It's a card of pride, of achievement. And when we need to release this, I think it, for you, is having an emotional tie to material items. We see in the 5 of Cups, when these 3 cups get spilled, we're sad, we're mourning, we're not recognizing that we still have a lot going for us. And we can't have wish fulfillment and attainment from just having things. That's not really emotionally fulfilling, just having items and having things, right? They need to have substance to them. They need to have meaning behind them. And I think for you, it is about finding the meaning in a good community or in people that are like-minded. With strength, it's important that you're not trying to force or change, but that you show up and you are gentle and kind and nurturing to yourself. You know, not trying to force yourself to fit into a box or force yourself to change or bend, you know, but showing up authentically and having that gentle strength and kindness to nurture maybe the anger that you might feel or the big emotions, right? There's also, with the Knight of Wands and the Seven of Cups, a lot of this is emotional. A lot of this is about your passions with the Wands and the Cups. Knight of Wands is more about finding what drives you, right? What makes you get up and go and do things. I think for you, you are kind of thinking maybe you don't have a lot of decisions or choices or opportunities, right? You don't think there's lots of choice for you out there, but I'm seeing that differently. I don't know, I'm feeling like the Moon card is nearby. I feel like you're being deceived by the choices in front of you, thinking that, why do I feel like maybe you think you can only have like one friend group, or you have to be friends with everyone? Like, you can have one friend group and two friend groups and they don't ever meet each other and they don't, you know, hang out because they have different interests, they wouldn't get along. You can have 6 friends and none of them know each other or not like each other. You can be friends with whoever you want and find community and find peace what aligns with you, and not trying to force people to get along or force yourself to please everyone, right? I think that's a big thing for you, is trying to force yourself to please everyone. You're not choosing what feels, again, emotionally fulfilling, choosing what fills your cup. You're kind of choosing your choices for other people, and that's starting to become a burden, and it's starting to weigh you down. And I think you're losing passion for putting yourself out there, for having conversations, for meeting people, for doing things, right? You're losing your passions for these things, and it's starting to feel like a burden, like a chore to socialize, to hang out. And I think that's something that you need to be reevaluating during this retrograde. Let us see what blessing or opportunity is hidden within this retrograde. For a lot of people, it has been moving on, and that these big scary endings might just be leading to the best new beginnings you could hope for. But let's see for you what opportunity or blessing is hidden within this retrograde. What opportunity or blessing do you have coming through? So we have the Emperor, the Five of Pentacles, and if we can get one more card. Oh, we got a few there. Let's see. So we have the Six of Pentacles, the Emperor, the Five of Pentacles, and we have Judgment. I feel, I'm going to be so honest with you guys. I do feel iffy when I see the Emperor and Judgment together, because it feels almost like a dictatorship. The Emperor is somebody who is loyal, who is a leader, who can be, he's strong, right? But with the Judgment, it feels like maybe you're making decisions not for the best interest of other people. I think the reason that this is coming out in your energy, you want to help people, you want to be there for people, but I think it, like I said, it's starting to wear on yourself. The energy is not given back, right? You can give and give to people, but are they giving back the same time? Are they giving back the same energy? And it's not going to be fully equal, you know. Sometimes you'll give 90% to the relationship and they can only fill in their extra 10, but that's what a relationship and a friendship and community is about. You show up and you uplift each other and you push each other the rest of the way. But I feel like there are connections and relationships in your life that are more focused on them taking from you and not giving. And again, like I said, it's wearing you down. You're wanting to be a loyal friend, but right now you do need to be making that judgment call of putting yourself first. We have the Ace of Cups, the King of Wands, and the Eight of Wands. If you're wanting to feel this passion reignited again, if you're wanting to feel emotionally fulfilled, if you want movement, right, a way forward, alignment, that comes from filling up your own cup first and making sure that, again, it's never going to be equal give and take, but it needs to be as equal as it can be. And it's not just, again, it's not a dictatorship. It's not you just take and take from me and I'm the one that's always giving. It has to be fair in your life, right? I do want to clarify the Five of Pentacles. Clarify the Five of Pentacles for me, please, Script. Death. You're asking for change. You're wanting change. I don't think you're looking in the right places for it. And the reason that you're not feeling aligned with the goals or the communities that you're trying to find is because, again, you're looking in the wrong places. If you're wanting to, you know, maybe start a community, a book club, then go to the library and look for a book club, people with similar interests. You're not going to go finding that at, like, the wrong place, right? I that's the worst analogy ever that I was trying to prove, but, like, if you are seeking like-minded individuals, say, about spirituality, then you would want to find that in the right place, and maybe going to a Christian church might not be the best for you because it might not align with your beliefs. When you're wanting to seek change and seek understanding, again, seeking out these people in the right places is important. If you're wanting to get away from people that maybe are trauma dumping, for instance, then, you know, don't be hanging around circles where that is the main focus of conversation. Focus on, again, aligning with people that align with you. Let's see, I want to clarify the 8 of Wands. What is it you want to move forward with? The 7 of Swords. So you do want to move away from people that, again, maybe don't have your best interest at heart. And I think you are kind of realizing your own part in this. You're realizing where maybe you're self-sabotaging yourself. Like I said, you're looking for the wrong things in the wrong places, and you're thinking that they're not out there. You're thinking that you're never going to find people that are like-minded, or you're never going to find people that uplift you like you uplift people. But like I said, you're looking in the wrong looking in the wrong spaces, you're looking in the wrong places. And it's not that you're self-sabotaging yourself on purpose, but you are definitely sabotaging your hunt by not looking where you might best find what you're looking for. I can't explain it better than that, and I just feel like I'm tongue twisting, but I hope that that message is resonating how it should be with who it should be. Let's scoop these cards up for one last tarot pull. We're going to see how you can best navigate this Mercury retrograde. How you can best navigate. What is the best advice for you during this Mercury retrograde, please, Spirit? How can they best... Whoops. How can we best navigate this Mercury retrograde? How can we best navigate this? What is the advice? Well, I saw that coming out, so we're not going to ignore the sun. Okay, we're not ignoring the sun. We're not ignoring what needs to be brought to the light and what needs to be illuminated. We're not doing that, and that is, yeah. The 8 of Swords, the moon, and the sun. We are over this overthinking that we are not worthy, that we are undeserving. We are overthinking that we don't deserve nice people, nice community. We are putting ourselves, you know, into scary situations, like putting ourselves out there, being the one that introduces ourselves to people, joining a club where we don't know anybody. We're doing the thing that scares us, that we're unsure of, that we don't know what it might be like. So with the best interest, right? With the hope that it turns out positively. You keep expecting the worst, and it's building this anxiety, and it's almost keeping you trapped. You need to start expecting the best, right? Expect the best possible outcome and see where that can take you. Temperance and the Knight of Wands, You will find new passions along the way, but it's about chasing them. When you feel curious, when you feel excited about something, chasing it, seeing where it can lead you, seeing where it goes, and finding your new community along the way. Temperance is about balance, okay? That you might join a group, and you know what? The people there might not align with you. You might join a book club and they don't read the genres that you like, or you don't get along well, but at least you put yourself out there and you tried, and it's kind of showing you that it's not as bad as it's meant to be. I don't know why I keep going back to you putting yourself out there. I know community is a big thing for this collective. And I know the right people are out there for you, but you are, again, anxious, overthinking. You're worrying so much. And I think a big thing is you're confusing anxiety with intuition and thinking like, okay, I'm being guided to stay awake. No. Sometimes, again, anxiety is very deceitful. It doesn't want you to see the positives or see the fun, right? A lot of this for you is letting go of these scary feelings to put yourself out there, to find the community that you're looking for. Before we end here, we're going to go ahead and pull an oracle card and see what your higher self is trying to tell you. What is your higher self reminding you during this time? What is your higher self reminding you during this time? Let's see here. Well, that was so instant. We have protection. The fairies of protection are shielding you with a magical fairy ring of love and light. Practice psychic protection before embarking on your spiritual work. I like this because it feels like, again, you are very protected in where you go. And I don't know why I got this visual of like maybe having a protective necklace or like a bracelet that you wear that gives you that boost of energy to feel like I am protected, I am guided, I'm going to be safe. And that's okay to maybe say some affirmations or carry, again, a protective item with you. You are protected by whatever you believe, right? It could be the fairies of love and light. It could be the fairies of protection. It could be God that protects you. It could be spirit, universe, source. But know that you are divinely protected on your path, and that you don't need to keep hiding yourself away, and that you will find the right people for you. But that brings us to the end of this reading. I really hope these messages brought you clarity and guidance you were looking for. I'd love to know in the comments below, has anything from your past been resurfacing during this Mercury retrograde? And if not, did any of this resonate with you? Please do let me know. If you enjoyed today's reading, please consider, liking, subscribing, doing all those YouTube things. And if you'd like a personal reading, I do offer those. I offer video readings and live Zoom readings. I also do free TikTok live readings over on my TikTok. You'll find all the information for that in the description box down below. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I truly, truly appreciate you.